news this week, obviously, in the tech space is Ryzen 7000. AMD dropped absolute knowledge bomb after knowledge bomb about their upcoming plans. The Ryzen 9 7950X is actually getting a price drop, or rather you could consider it a price correction compared to 5000 series. It's still 16 cores, 32 threads, but can hit a whopping 230 watts when needed and can turbo up to 5.7 gigahertz. 5.7, 80 megs of cache on board, and is rated to run with DDR5 5200 memory. However, AMD has already come out and said that their new Expo, extended profiles for overclocking, DDR5 memory kits will be available, and the sweet spot for Ryzen 7000 is going to be 6,000 megatransfers per second. There's some discussion questions in here from whoever prepared this topic for us. The 7950X being $100 cheaper than last gen, could that mean that they're reserving the $800 slot for an X3D part? That is possible, although I wouldn't expect it to come anytime soon. The 7700X is $100 more than last gen, but that part came out over a year into the rollout, so that kind of makes sense. So it could be that the 7700X is actually the 5800X replacement. It's 8 cores, 16 threads, maximum boost of 5.4 gigahertz. I love these boost clocks. Holy crap, are we ever getting close?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, AMD, Ryzen, it's not a bad thing, but Ryzen generation after generation has been kind of an overclocking dud as far as like overclocking on an air cooler or an ambient water cooler. Obviously, the liquid nitrogen folks are doing what they do with it, right? But for the mere mortals among us, it doesn't really overclock much, which is another way of saying that AMD has really optimized it to run at the maximum attainable speed for consumers out of the box.
Yeah.
But they are getting like shockingly close to that 6 gigahertz barrier. That's
which, just
impressive.
like other topics we've had today, is boring, but good.
AMD claims that the 7950X, their top tier chip, is 11% faster overall in gaming compared to the 12900K, and that even the Ryzen 5 7600X, which is $300, beats the 12900K in gaming, while also costing a lot less. How competitive will Ryzen 7000 be with Raptor Lake, asks our discussion question, especially because Raptor Lake is rumored to be more expensive than Alder Lake 12th gen. Wow. Canadian retailers listing 13th gen Intel Core processors with prices 15 to 19% higher than Alder Lake counterparts. With that said, I know from my experience in retail that sometimes what we would do is we would put in placeholder prices before we actually got formal pricing that was just definitely higher than what it would be. So that way we could have the listings up, we could prepare our pages and everything. Almost nobody would actually order at those prices and the product's not even out yet. It's not shipping or anything. But what it would mean is that you could get everything prepared and you definitely wouldn't lose money if people ordered it early. So it could be that this is not actually that meaningful. Either way, it could be. It could mean that the competition between Raptor Lake and Ryzen 7000 is going to be a little tighter than the initial rumors might have indicated. I'm excited. We forgot to type in Mr. Who's the Boss. Oh,
yeah,
well.
That's my bad.
Well, I guess we've ruled out Mr. Who's the Boss. Sorry.
What do you think the sweet spot is? What do you think the mover is going to be?
Oh, I think it's absolutely going to be 7700X.
Yeah.
At $400 for 8-core, 16-thread, 5.4 gigahertz boost, especially because like precision boost, whatever AMD calls it, their boost technology is so good that I would actually expect this, if you provide ample cooling, to exceed that in some cases. Like I with just a tiny little bit of adjustment, I just don't see how you're going to get any kind of meaningful performance uplift in games going to a 7900X or 7950X. Of course, I am totally excited to be proven wrong. I'd love to see, massively multi-threaded games come, and I'd love to see just like absolutely like runaway frame rates. But I don't foresee it happening at a time when the current generation consoles all have 8-core CPUs. I just don't think it's realistic. AM5 motherboards, the high-end X670 and X670E will be available at launch, while B650E and B650 will arrive in October. This is a good question. It's not going to come down to just performance. If Ryzen 7000 and Raptor Lake trade blows, but AMD has committed to support AM5 through at least 2025, which is better than Intel typically does, why would anyone choose Intel? It's a good question. I would really like to see Intel stick to their sockets for a little bit longer. To be clear, AMD's track record here, not perfect. I personally invested much money into their STRX 40 platform, which they said was going to get future Threadripper processors, which as of yet have not materialized. Zen 4 is launching on AM5, and I don't even have a Zen 3 option for my editing stations yet. Paid for many of those. So let's be clear. AMD's track record, not perfect. We got one generation of chips. That was it. But they are saying that they're going to go till 2025, and Intel typically does only 2 cycles. So 13th gen is going to be the end of LGA 1700 theoretically, which will support 12th and 13th gen, which has been a strong argument against Ryzen 5000 right now because the 12th gen platform has had some room to grow, while to my knowledge, they still haven't confirmed any kind of Zen 4 anything for socket AM4, although I think they acknowledge that it could be a possibility. AMP323, yes, 5000 Threadripper Pro is out now. It doesn't fit in an STRX 40 socket. Fat lot of good that does me. I didn't want Threadripper Pro. I wanted Threadripper for my STRX 40 socket.
I'm ready whenever, by the way.
Right, so in the current battle, 12th gen versus Ryzen 5000, 12th gen is the smart play. All other things being equal, wouldn't you rather have an upgrade path if AM4 is dead end? So the same thing's going to happen again, where Raptor Lake is going to be the end of LGA 1700 probably, if Intel's pattern is anything to go on, while AM5 could have 1, 2, maybe 3 upgrades still. Ooh. Now, that's not to say that you'll get the absolute most out of those future chips on this older platform motherboard, but that's another thing AMD has done a pretty darn good job of, is maintaining that performance across multiple platforms. Okay, there was one last thing for Ryzen 7000, by the way, PCIe Gen 5. And PCIe 5.0 SSDs will come to market in October. I think that we've kind of reached the practical limit of PCIe SSD speeds mattering for consumers for the next few years. Yeah,
but that's good.
Especially because there are other bottlenecks that are going to be concerns long before that kind of massive sequential throughput is going to be a problem.
Still good though.
Oh, is my bleep not working?
You want that level of component to be ahead.
That's fair. That's fair because new hardware will come and you want your old platform to be ready for it. Yep. I mean, there's nothing more frustrating than going back to an old system, you know, like, I don't know, let's say Intel 2000, 3000 series and going, yeah, this is still totally fast enough for what I need to, oh my God, it has like 2 USB 3 ports. Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Gigabit Ethernet is what we're going to think about anything older than like a couple years ago.
Yep.
Like, really? Gigabit? I'm trying to transfer a freaking file here.
Yeah.
Come on.
For real, though.
For real.
Yeah.